technology, and this is my poster.
Tell me about your poster.
Okay, well, I'm a peer leader, so I observed at the end of workshop what I can do to engage women to develop their skills in workshop. And the introduction starts off with how we can do this using constructivist learning concepts and how we can create an environment that complements multiple learning styles and attempts to break away from cultural gender bias. And I did that with help from Vygotsky and his theory of constructivist learning. And I used 3 concepts and 3 scenarios that I observed because I only had 1 female in my workshop. So the concept goes through the literature of what we can do to engage students using constructivist learning concepts, which is expand discussions, meaning personal conversations. We can use software, technology, and we can also promote individuals to share their knowledge and interact with others, which is what we do in the workshop. My 3 observations: I did a case study of 1 female, 9 males, and 1 female peer leader, me. My personal conversation with her, she explained that she felt more comfortable in workshop, but still felt unsure, unmotivated, and concerned about her place in engineering, which kind of distracted her from her coursework. And the second scenario, second observation that I made was through a technology workshop where we had the students using bridge building software to put what they were learning mathematically into real-life applications. And through this workshop, I noticed that Eve asked more open-ended questions, and she guided others with bridge testing and worked through a number of reality-based problems. And the last scenario was just a traditional workshop observation. And in here, I observed that along with me, 2 male peers, Eve was able to collaborate and use method of steps to solve a difficult statics problem. And over the course of these workshops, she had less hesitation to ask the peers for guidance, and she was confused about the next steps. She would ask for help. So she even took initiative after the fact to try to assemble a study group outside of the workshop, so that was pretty cool. And so these are the kind of things that with Vygotsky's constructivist learning theories, I tried to implement as a peer leader, which was personal support and encouragement. So I discussed that the female is not alone with her feelings and concerns. It's easier to appreciate that kind of encouragement when they recognize that they complete a whole. So they're a crucial part of this and kind of encourages them to go forward. And through technology, I observed that it promotes learning through social interactions. So the more technology they feel can create a new learning for them, can create creativity and has structure so that students can relate to the technology in their lives. And the third implementation was just a regular workshop, which we encouraged the peers, expanded opportunities for students to talk with one another about class assignments, and we devoted time to team building efforts and fostered positive interactions. And so Vygotsky's theory reinforces the idea that community of support and confirmation is essential for women's intellectual growth. So the Vygotsky's learning concepts introduced multiple learning styles, and it's easy to see how these learning styles can engage women as well as men. And
so do we mean learning styles or learning strategies?
Learning, I think the strategies would be something that they develop themselves, and so we're able to kind of complement their styles of learning, and then they go from there with their strategy.
Okay.
So And my conclusion is just that of course, there needs to be a lot more research, but I observed that although she did have some problems in voicing her techniques, after encouragement, after technology being used in a workshop, for her to see real life what she's doing and how it's benefiting her in the engineering department, it encourages her to keep going and kind of break away from being shy to continue on doing something that's uncomfortable for her. But so one of the conclusions also that I came to is that we should, educators and instructors should recognize the importance of women being motivated by their own interests and not influenced by stereotypical views of career choices. So usually in the engineering field, we don't have a lot of women. So it may be a choice later down the road where they see that women in the industry are not getting paid enough, so they might not want to go to this. And more if we break this down and kind of open and expand the engineering department to women and men, we can like bridge that gap and create equality. So
do you think that the example of Eve paralleled your own journey?
I think in some ways it did. In some ways it may not have. But in most of the ways that she talked about, when she said it was harder for her to feel involved since everyone around her was talking construction lingo, it kind of made her feel alienated. Sometimes that may happen if you don't know what's going on. So in that way I can relate to her definitely, because of course you want to be a part of a conversation, but if you don't know what's going on, you may feel a bit set aside from everyone else. And so I guess...
So language is a factor.
Yeah. So I guess encouragement from not only a peer leader, but also your males as well, can help kind of
so
you persevere
colleagues
over that.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the hardest part about this poster?
The hardest part about this poster was trying to focus on one problem, or not problem, but one idea that I wanted to break down instead of trying to go everywhere else, because there's just a lot of things that I think play into how instructors should go about teaching and how we should kind of take it into consideration all the time. And
as in we peer leaders, or
peer leaders and instructors, educators.
Okay.
And a lot of the times we don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Because I think that we're not engaging in this type of methods, and it shows sometimes with our female students or any like minority student. They may feel alienated from certain subject.
Okay.
Major, yeah.
Did you ask Eve why she was taking this course?
Yeah, she wanted to study architecture first, which I also wanted to study architecture first. And then she got some hints and like some advice from some of her peers that were telling her to go to engineering because architecture was, I don't know, I think she felt that although she liked to draw, it was just too much, and she wanted to learn in a different way. So she wanted to learn I guess, the building blocks before she actually started drawing things.
So, where did you start in this process? Did you start with the observations or the literature, or how did you...
Well, I started with that brainstorm that I went through of my concepts and how I wanted to get to an end goal, which the end goal was to have both male and female develop their skills in statics. And so after I saw the goal, I had to focus on what the problem was for females to do this and why it was just a little bit harder, or why they might have a little, I guess, a harder time. So I broke away and started looking at the literature that discussed why women might feel this way about engineering and about, I guess, learning in general. And then after that, I observed what was going on in my workshops and compared it to the literature, and saw that there was a lot of similarities and a lot of differences in the way that we were traditionally trying to help students learn, and the way that maybe it probably should be taught to help not just males or not just certain type of minds, but all minds learn. And so that led me to my implementation of Vygotsky's constructivist learning theories, which expanded my 3 scenarios, even though there's much more. And then my conclusion, which was just overall what we should do after this, because this is only one part of it.
So what would you say has been the best part about being a peer leader?
I think the best part about being a peer leader for me was knowing that sometimes we don't always have the voice to go ask for help, and a peer leader's job is to kind of encourage the help, even though they may not directly ask for it and we may not directly give them an answer, but we're definitely encouraging them to think about ways that not only they can help themselves, but that they can use other people to help themselves as well. And just their peers and their prior knowledge are the best things that they can motivate themselves to keep going. And I think that was the best thing, when you're able to help someone else just realize that little part and just think about it. And afterwards, they're like, you know, that really helped me, that conversation. So it was nice.
What was the very hardest part about doing this poster?
Trying to get everything aligned. I still messed up like right here, but it's fine.
Well, it's well designed.
I think the hardest part about this poster was trying to get everything to flow from one idea to the other. I think it was kind of crucial for my understanding that people understood what I was doing in the workshop and understood what the concept was in general, and not just read one part, but kind of take that one part and understand why that part works with the other.
So even the design of the poster
Yeah.
was part of your thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it shows. So, anything you'd like to add?
I would just want to say thank you to everyone, especially AE, for motivating us to do something that I probably would have never done if I didn't take this peer leading training. And it's definitely helped me, and I'm able to help and influence people to do the same. It's just a chain effect of great thinking.
So, and we need to get more women involved.
Yes.
So it's part of the mission here.
Great.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.